Imagine a world where the vast lands of America were never colonized by European powers. What might that look like? To set the context of an uncolonized America, we must first envision a land where indigenous civilizations continue to thrive and evolve independently of European influence. This concept challenges us to reimagine history, focusing on the self-sustaining societies that existed long before Columbus set sail. These diverse cultures, with their rich traditions, complex social structures, and sophisticated economies, would have continued to develop their paths, untouched by foreign conquest and colonization. The significance of this idea lies in its ability to reshape our understanding of American history. Typically, history is viewed through the lens of European colonization, often marginalizing the narratives of native peoples. By envisioning an uncolonized America, we prioritize indigenous stories and acknowledge their contributions to the continent's history. Consider the Mississippian culture, known for constructing sprawling cities and monumental architecture like Cahokia. These societies might have expanded their influence, fostering innovative developments in agriculture, trade, and governance. Similarly, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, renowned for its sophisticated political system, could have influenced neighboring societies, promoting peace and cooperation across vast regions. These examples highlight the potential for indigenous advancements unimpeded by European intervention. However, imagining an uncolonized America is not without its challenges or controversies. Some might argue that European colonization, despite its devastating impacts, also brought technological and cultural exchanges that contributed to the development of modern societies. Others suggest that indigenous civilizations were inherently dynamic and would have pursued similar advancements without European disruption. This vision of an uncolonized America influences other aspects of our script by prompting us to explore alternative histories, such as how global trade networks might have evolved, or how the absence of colonial borders could have shaped the geopolitical landscape. It also raises questions about the potential environmental impacts, considering the sustainable practices many indigenous cultures practiced. Ultimately, setting the context of an uncolonized America invites us to challenge dominant historical narratives, appreciate the complexity of indigenous cultures, and imagine a world where their stories are not sidelined, but celebrated as integral to the continent's history. This powerful reframing serves as a foundation for understanding the myriad possibilities of what could have been, enriching our exploration of this intriguing topic. Native American societies pre-colonization refer to the complex, diverse cultures and civilizations that existed across the Americas before European contact in the late 15th century. These societies varied dramatically in terms of social structures, economies, and ways of life, and included groups such as the Iroquois Confederacy, the Aztec Empire, the Inca Empire, and countless other tribes and nations. Each had its own language, traditions, and systems of governance, often demonstrating sophisticated agricultural practices, trade networks, and spiritual beliefs. The significance of understanding Native American societies pre-colonization is profound. When considering the hypothetical scenario of America never being colonized by Europe, this knowledge allows us to appreciate the intrinsic development of these societies without foreign disruption and envision how they might have continued to evolve organically. Recognizing their resilience and adaptability highlights the potential trajectory of the continent's history, emphasizing a narrative of independence and self-determination. For instance, the Iroquois Confederacy is a notable example of a sophisticated political system known for its democratic governance structure that is often cited as an influence on the United States Constitution. Another example is the extensive agricultural practices of the Inca, who mastered terrace farming and irrigation, showcasing the potential advancements in agriculture that could have continued to evolve without European intervention. Opinions supporting this perspective often stress that without colonization, Native American societies could have developed advanced civilizations on their own terms, potentially avoiding the loss of life, culture, and autonomy that accompanied European colonization. This viewpoint advocates for honoring and learning from indigenous knowledge that was, and still is, invaluable. However, there are Challenges and controversies surrounding this topic. Critics might argue that technological and industrial advancements brought by Europeans would have eventually reached the Americas through other means, influencing native societies similarly without direct colonization. Additionally, some alternative viewpoints suggest that internal conflicts and environmental changes might have also significantly altered the development of these civilizations independent of European influence. This topic connects to broader discussions on cultural preservation, indigenous rights, and the impact of colonialism, suggesting that the past's hypothetical scenarios can provide insights into present and future policies. Understanding the pre-colonization state of America invites us to reflect on the resilience and innovation of native societies, offering lessons on sustainable living and governance that remain relevant today. Imagining a world where America had never been colonized by Europe requires us to consider the hypothetical development of indigenous civilizations on the continent. This concept envisions how indigenous societies might have evolved independently, free from European interference. It involves exploring the continuation and expansion of cultural, technological, political, and social advancements that were native to these communities. Indigenous peoples across North America were already diverse, with distinct languages, traditions, and governance structures. Without colonization, these cultures could have further developed their sophisticated systems and potentially formed larger coalitions or confederations. The significance of this point lies in challenging the often Eurocentric narratives that dominate historical discourse. It prompts us to recognize the rich histories and potential futures of indigenous civilizations had they not been disrupted by European colonization. This reflection allows for a deeper appreciation of indigenous resilience, innovation, and contribution to human heritage. Consider the example of the Iroquois Confederacy, known for its democratic principles and influence on modern political systems. If left uninterrupted, this confederacy might have expanded its influence, potentially leading to a powerful alliance of tribes that could rival European powers. Similarly, the Mississippian culture, with its urban centers like Cahokia, might have continued its architectural and societal advancements, possibly becoming a central hub of commerce and culture in North America. Supporters of this idea argue that indigenous societies had their own trajectories of development, and disrupting these through colonization resulted in lost potential for unique innovations and social structures. They contend that recognizing these possibilities is essential for a more balanced understanding of history. However, this concept is not without challenges and controversies. Some argue that external influences, whether from Europe or elsewhere, are natural parts of human history that can lead to new advancements. Additionally, determining the trajectory of indigenous civilizations without European influence remains speculative, often based more on imagination than concrete evidence. This hypothetical development connects to broader aspects of the topic by challenging us to reimagine other elements of a non-colonized America, such as ecological balance, economic structures, and cultural exchanges. It influences how we view the role of indigenous peoples in shaping the continent's destiny and encourages a reassessment of historical narratives, fostering a more inclusive understanding of America's past and its potential futures. In considering the impact on global trade and economics in a scenario where America had never been colonized by Europe, we must first define the concept of global trade. Global trade refers to the exchange of goods, services, and capital across international borders. It plays a crucial role in the interconnectedness of economies worldwide. Without European colonization, the pathways and networks that facilitated and shaped modern trade dynamics would be vastly different. The importance of this point lies in the significant influence European colonization had on establishing trade routes, economic policies, and market structures that benefited European powers at the expense of indigenous populations and non-European regions. One specific example illustrating this concept is the absence of the transatlantic trade triangle that connected Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Without this exploitative system, the forced movement of enslaved people from Africa to the Americas and the mass export of commodities like cotton, tobacco, and sugar to Europe might not have occurred in the same way, drastically altering the economic development of these regions. Another example is the potential for indigenous economies in the Americas to develop independently, driven by their internal trade systems and innovations. Cultures like the Aztec and Inca had complex trade networks and economies that, given time and lack of external disruption, could have evolved into significant global players in their own right. Supporters of this idea argue that a non-colonized America might have led to a more diverse and equitable distribution of economic power globally. Without European interference, the natural resources and cultural innovations of the Americas might have contributed to a more balanced global economy, potentially leading to alternative technological advancements. However, challenges and controversies arise from this speculative analysis. Some might argue that European colonization, although brutal, accelerated technological and infrastructural advancements that shaped the modern world. Others might point to the possibility of other non-European powers eventually colonizing the Americas, potentially leading to similar exploitation. This hypothetical scenario connects to other aspects of the main topic by influencing cultural exchanges, political landscapes, and the very demographic fabric of the world as we know it. It raises questions about how different cultures and civilizations might have interacted without the backdrop of European dominance. The domino effect of unchecked indigenous growth could have redefined alliances, rivalries, and global leadership in trade and economics. In sum, imagining a world where America remained uncolonized by Europe invites a re-examination of history, its consequences, and the myriad ways it shaped the present.